What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing a cheap Amazon air compressor from this company called Gobege to my expensive VIAIR 300P air compressor that I love oh so much and have been using for the past year and a half or so. So this company sent me this air compressor to try out, and I figured what better way to try out a new air compressor than to be putting it up against one of the top dogs on the market in the VIAIR 300P that I have. So we're gonna go ahead and do a direct comparison between the two and see if maybe it's worth it to save a little bit of money and go with the Amazon one, or if it's better to just buy once, cry once, and go with a more expensive air compressor and avoid these Amazon air compressors. Alright guys, so this is the Gobege portable air compressor. You can see it comes in this nice little carrying pouch. It's a little bit on the cheaper, thinner, flimsier side, but it should be able to do the trick. So just to read off some specs from the Amazon listing, it has a 26-foot air hose, as you can see here, which is pretty long. That's going to help you reach all four tires with no issue. It is a 12-volt air compressor, so it's going to use alligator clips to hook up directly to your battery to get power. The airflow rate is shown to be 5.56 CFM, or 160 liters per minute, which is pretty impressive if true. It also says that it'll run on a continuous cycle of 40 minutes at 40 psi if necessary. And in addition to that, the max working pressure is 150 psi, so that'll cover pretty much anything that you're going to be using this for outside of some insanely heavy equipment or something like that, so you should be covered there. It also has an automatic thermal cutoff switch system so that it's not going to overheat if you're trying to pump up a tire for too long and it's really hot out or anything like that, which for me in Florida is definitely a concern. But in addition to that, you get a 1-year warranty with it, so you're kind of covered if anything were to happen. Alright guys, so behind me is the vehicle that we're going to test these compressors out on. I'm not going to tell you yet what this vehicle is, and you're not going to know in this video because I'm keeping it a little bit of a surprise for now until I work out some things and do a full reveal on this vehicle. With that said, it does have my old Tacoma wheel and tire setup on it. So we're going to be testing these compressors out on about a 31.5 inch tire, I believe, if I remember correctly how big they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and deflate the tires to around 10 to 15 psi and then pump them back up, see how long it takes to get back to the desired psi, which I want to say is around 30-ish, 32 maybe. Either way, we're going to do it the same for both compressors so that we have a good gauge of how quickly each of them fill up the same amount of air, and we'll go ahead and do a comparison as well as like a comparison of the features and, you know, ease of use and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and get right into that, and the next shot you're going to see is just of the tire, hopefully not giving away too much about this vehicle, and we're going to go ahead and hook up the compressors and see what we got. Alright, so as you can kind of see there, we're around 10 psi or so, maybe 11. And I had to use the VIAIR to deflate because I'm not sure that the other guy actually has a deflator built into it. It kind of has the same shape where the deflator is on the hose, but it doesn't have any like actuations or instructions like this one does to deflate. So I'm going to go ahead and for now assume that it doesn't have the deflate and just use the VIAIR for that. But we're going to go ahead and hook up the VIAIR first and just kind of get a gauge of how long it'll take to get up to 30 psi from the 10 to 11 that we're at, and then we'll go ahead and do the other one and see where that one's at. Alright, so right around the 2-minute mark here with the VIAIR, I went ahead and stopped it, knowing that's about how long it takes, and we're right at 30 psi after 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So I will say I didn't really like the gauge for the Gobege compressor. For some reason it goes up to 200, so it was a little bit hard to tell where I was at 30 because it didn't mark it every 10 like the VIAIR did. But as you can see here, I went ahead and stopped the Gobege compressor at about the same time, 2 minutes and 8 seconds, just to check on it, and it didn't look like it was at the 30 mark that I was anticipating. Like I said, it's a little hard to read on this gauge, so I went ahead and undid this gauge and plugged in the VIAIR gauge, which clearly has a 30 psi mark on it. So I went ahead and did that, and as you can see here, it is under 30 psi. So unfortunately for the Gobege compressor, it did not fill up the tire from 10 to 30 in the same amount of time that the VIAIR did. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is the Gobege Amazon air compressor versus my VIAIR 300P that I also bought on Amazon, but just from a more reputable and name brand company. So conclusion to this all, in my opinion, it's not really worth it to save 20, 30, 40 bucks to go with the Amazon brand in this case, when the VIAIR did the same job quicker, it's smaller, it's lighter, it's quieter, and it's only, like I said, $30 to $40 more expensive than the Gobege option. I guess if you did want to save a couple bucks, go ahead and try the Amazon one out. Although I can't speak for the longevity of it, how long it's gonna last, if it's gonna be durable. As far as the build quality, it's perfectly fine. I think they did a good job with the overall package and everything feels solid on it. It truly is a beast of an air compressor. It's pretty big, it's pretty heavy, and it doesn't really feel cheap by any means. But that said, for me, the VIAIR 300P is obviously going to be the better option here, being quicker, lighter, quieter, etc., and most likely more reliable. So you have my recommendation there. Let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. I will have both of these linked in the description of the video if you want to go ahead and check them out from Amazon. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.